Good day, sweethearts. It's Sibong, your Korean daddy. Today I'm teaching you how to shop for a Korean husband. Not a joke. In Korea, husband shopping is a real industry. Real offices, real fees, real paperwork. You hand over your diploma, your salary records, your family registry, and the company hands back a grade. Every man in the system has a grade. So does every woman. And there's one thing the grade can never predict. I'll show you at the end. Let's open the file. The man sheet. When a Korean man joins one of these companies, he sits down with the manager. The manager looks very friendly. The manager is doing math, job first. That's the biggest number on the sheet. Doctor, judge, prosecutor, lawyer at a big firm. That's the top shelf. Then education. Korea has 3 universities everyone can name. People call them Sky. Think of it as an Ivy League with only 3 seats. Every mother in this country can recite them in her sleep. If he went to one of those, his grade goes up. If he didn't, the manager smiles and types something quietly. Then salary. Then height. Yes, height is on the form. There's an unofficial line and it sits around 175 centimeters. That's about 5'9". Below that line, his job has to work overtime. And then comes the part that shocks every foreigner. His parents get graded too. What his father does, what his parents own, whether they're divorced, whether they expect to live with the couple. Because in Korea, you don't just marry a man, you merge with a family. And the agency is doing due diligence on the whole company. And the intake interview goes deeper than any job interview. They ask about his previous relationships. They ask why the last one ended. They ask if he wants children, how many and how soon. They ask about his religion, his drinking, his hobbies, whether he owns his apartment or rents it. And in Korea, that last question is not small talk. That question decides which shelf he goes on. The whole thing takes about an hour. He walks out with a membership and a number he will never be told. By the way, no agency will ever say the word grade to your face. The official words are matching score, profile tier, customized service level. Korea is very good at polite vocabulary. A cage with nice wallpaper is still a cage. So let me say the quiet part out loud. In this system, you're not marrying a man. You're acquiring a portfolio. Now, how much does this cost? The big agencies charge between 2 and 4 million won. That's roughly $2,000 to $3,000. And that buys you a set number of introductions, not relationships, not dates that go well. Introductions. A standard contract buys you around 5 to 7 meetings, 7 coffees. That's the whole product. Every meeting gets deducted from your balance, like a gym punch card for humans. Former members describe the countdown. Meeting 1, you're hopeful. Meeting 4, you're doing math. Meeting 7, you're back in the office renegotiating. And the manager already has the renewal form printed. The agency gets paid whether the meeting works or not. A bad date costs exactly the same as a good one. The machine does not refund heartbreak. But here's my favorite detail in this whole business. If the man is a doctor, the price can collapse. Some professionals get recruited for 1/10 of the normal fee, sometimes less. Why? Because he's not the customer anymore. He's the product in the window. The agency needs a grad man the way a casino needs a jackpot machine near the entrance. Something shiny. So everyone else keeps paying. Remember that detail? It comes back at the end and it changes everything. Now, before you feel sorry for this man being measured like livestock, the woman's sheet is worse. Much worse. The woman's sheet. If you're a woman in this system, the sheet flips. For men, the first line is his job. For women, the first line is her age, not her career, not her degree, her birth year. People inside this industry say most women join between 33 and 35. At 35, the profile offers already start thinning out. At 38, the manager starts using the word flexible a lot. And do the math on that word, flexible. The average man in these systems asks for a woman several years younger. So a woman of 38 is competing for men in their mid-40s. And those men are requesting women in their early 30s. The latter only goes one way. Every year she waits, the shelf moves. Second line, her face. Some agencies want photos before they'll even quote a price. The photo goes in before the diploma does. And here's the part that breaks every Western brain. A woman's education can lower her value. A woman with a PhD is a harder sell than a woman with a bachelor's degree. Because many A-grade men, the doctors, the judges, are not shopping for an equal. They're shopping for a supporting role. The pricing flips too. In this market, a young woman with good conditions can pay a higher fee than a man because she's the inventory everyone is requesting. The agency knows exactly who moves the shelf. And here's the number nobody advertises. Inside these agencies, women outnumber men by a lot. Former members describe the same scene. A long list of impressive women, a short queue of ordinary men. So the agency protects its rare inventory. The men get options, the women get advice. Advice like be flexible. Advice like lower one condition. Advice that always flows in one direction. And you should see what the actual meeting looks like, because it's not a date, it's an appointment. The agency books a cafe, usually inside a hotel. Neutral ground, like diplomacy. Both people arrive knowing each other's job, school, age, and family situation. There's nothing to discover. The discovering was done by the office. So the conversation is not two people getting curious. It's two resumes checking for errors. He confirms she is the photo. She confirms he is the salary. 40 minutes, one coffee each. Then both of them text the manager a yes or a no, like reviewing a delivery. And one more thing, this one is genuinely dark. A lot of women in these systems didn't sign themselves up. Their parents did. There are real cases where a mother pays the fee, picks the man, arranges the meeting, and the daughter walks into the cafe thinking it's a normal blind date her mom set up. She doesn't know there's an invoice behind her coffee. There are even online cafes where Korean mothers trade agency reviews like stock tips. Which agency has more doctors? Which manager answers on weekends? What grade her daughter was quoted? The daughters have careers. The mothers have spreadsheets. So when your K-drama shows a rich mother sliding a folder across a table, that's not drama. That's Tuesday. I know this is a lot. Breath. You have me. Your daddy is here. And I still haven't answered the question you've been thinking since a minute ago. Okay, Sibong, can I join? Could you, a foreign woman, walk into one of these offices and order an A-grade Korean husband? That answer has a plot twist. Here's the honest answer. The front door doesn't open for you. Remember those documents from the beginning? Family registry, marriage status certificate, employment records. Those are all Korean government documents. The entire verification system runs on Korean paperwork. No Korean paperwork. No membership. The big agencies will tell you overseas members are welcome. And then they add, very politely, that if you're a Korean citizen, the process is exactly the same as normal. Read that sentence again. If you're a Korean citizen, that's the whole answer hiding inside customer service language. Now, Korea does have international matchmaking, but legally, it's a completely separate industry. Different license, different offices, different business. And I'll be straight with you about what that industry mostly does. It mostly matches Korean men with women from poorer countries. It was never built for a Western woman looking for a Korean husband. You are not the customer they imagined. There is no form for you. And honestly, that fact teaches you more than any grading sheet, because it tells you what this market actually is. It's not a love industry, it's a closed domestic market where two Korean families trade portfolios. The romance is the wrapping paper. The transaction is the gift. Which brings us to the final question. Say you win this game. You land the A-grade man, the doctor, the tall one, the sky diploma, the wealthy parents. What did you actually win? What the grade actually predicts. Let me tell you about one couple. Details changed. Story real. She was 32, office worker, good family. She paid the full fee. He was 35, a doctor. He paid almost nothing. You already know why. On paper, it was a perfect match. The managers congratulated each other. Two families met at a hotel restaurant. The mothers exchanged compliments like business cards. The wedding took 4 months to arrange. The marriage took 2 years to go quiet. Because the sheet had matched everything except the evenings. He came home at 11. She ate dinner with her phone. The apartment was beautiful. The silence was fully furnished. Nobody did anything wrong. That's the scary part. The system worked perfectly. 2 A grades, 1 empty living room. And that's the secret. The grade predicts the wedding. It does not predict the marriage. Think about what's actually on that sheet. Job, school, salary, height, parents' assets. Now think about what's not on it. Whether he listens, whether he can apologize, whether he calls his mother 3 times a day and takes her side every single time, whether he thinks a dishwasher is a wife. The sheet measures everything except the man. And people who've been through these systems say the same thing. The grade buys you a first meeting. Everything after their first coffee is still 2 strangers, starting from 0. Same odds as anywhere else, except now you paid $3,000 for the coin flip. And there's a colder layer under that. Remember chapter 1? The doctor who joined for almost free? An A-grade man knows his A-grade. The agency told him with a discount. So at that first coffee, he's not sitting across from a woman. He's sitting across from an offer. And he knows 12 more offers arrive next week. That's what the grade actually predicts. Not the quality of the husband, the size of his options. And options change behavior. A man with 1 door is careful. A man with 12 doors is casual. He can be late, he can be lazy, he can be bored. Because the agency will restock his calendar next week. You're not competing with another woman. You're competing with his inbox. One more honest thing. I'm not saying these companies are evil. They're efficient. They solve a real problem for busy people. But efficiency is a tool for finding a spouse. It was never a tool for keeping one. The paperwork ends at the wedding hall. The marriage starts in the parking lot. So what should you look at instead? The boring things. The things no agency can put on a sheet. How he treats a waiter when the food is late. Whether he asks a second question about your day or just waits for his turn to talk. What he does when he's wrong and nobody is watching. Those things don't have a grade, which is exactly why they're the only things worth grading. The A-grade man is real. The A-grade husband, you build that one after the wedding, or you don't. And no membership fee changes that math. So let's close the file. Korea Real does grade its man A to D. Job first, height counted, parents included. Women get graded harder, younger, and sometimes without even knowing. The front door of this market doesn't open for you. And the A on the sheet predicts the wedding, never the marriage. You came here looking for an A-grade Korean husband. I hope you're living with something better. The grading sheet in your own head torn up. They have the spreadsheets, but you have me. Your Korea Zare is here. Just one more thing before we go. 밥 먹었어? Have you eaten? Don't skip your meals and stay real. I'll see you in the next episode.